Hi, Prawesh.
Hi, Kanchanji. Thank you so much for having me here today.
I am so excited, so thrilled to have you on Chai Shai. Finally. And, I still remember the first time I met you, and it was a session being taken by Dada.
Yes, yes.
And you were some in the seva, sometimes managing the console, sometimes clicking pictures, sometimes doing other seva, and then you were interviewing people at the end
Yeah.
of the session.
I think right now it's like a role reversal, no?
Exactly. I was about to say that I just remember that you made me sit down and you'd interviewed me about faith.
One thing is the common between the two experiences. So that was the first time, like I was interviewing. So you're the first one there. And now it's the first time, someone is asking questions like this. So again, this is a first for me.
I am glad to be a part of your journey, Pravesh. I'm so glad. Tell me one thing. What is it about the rock vocalist that made him become a ritualistic and then a spiritualistic?
Yeah, yeah. So like when we were in school, so when we are in school, we have so many aspirations that when I grow up, this is what I want to be. And when you move to college, and that's where your dreams become more realistic. So all the childhood dreams that you have, then once you reach college, they seem that too childish. Okay, maybe I need to set more realistic goals for yourself. No? And then when you're in college, then you have your own set of aspirations. You look around, you see the people, the influences that you have on them, the influences that they have on you. That's a period where you start learning so much from the things around you. And once you finish college, I think that is probably where the real life actually starts. And that is where you realize that no matter how much ever you plan, okay, no matter whatever you want to do, what is eventually going to happen is what you were meant to do, what it was meant to be.
You
So
sure
for me
when you
also the
finished
thing.
college, I still see a little child in you.
Yes, yes. I think that is true for me. Like as a student, I had been a very studious person when I was in school. I used to learn. I used to love to learn a lot of new things. And in my journey, then when I once I went to college, even then I was a student. I was always keen to learn about new things, to explore more, to do try out new things. And after college, when I started with my profession, I became a teacher, as you know. But even then, I look at myself more as a student. Like when we are a student, that is when we become open to learning. And life, I've come to understand, is all about learning. So when you are a student, that is when you're completely open to actually exploring life, learning about things in life. So for myself, I've taken this, like a solemn oath that I always want to be a student. Okay. So no matter whatever role I may be in, this is one thing that I want to do, always be a student and just keep on learning and keep on growing in life.
So, guys out there, here I want to introduce Pravesh properly. The boy from Kalimpong, convent educated, a rock vocalist. After his college from Presidency, Calcutta, goes into corporate career. And while in college, remember he was a rock vocalist. And from one job to another, from Calcutta to Bangalore, from Bangalore to Delhi, rock moved and turned into singing mantras, chanting mantras. So, Pravesh, first I would request you to sing a little song for us, maybe a rock number.
So it's been a really long time since I've sung like rock
दो
songs.
लाइन गा दो.
Uh, but एक दूसरा song है which I really love, and once in a while I keep on singing. So I'd like to share that number. Is it okay?
Sure, please go ahead. Your show, your time.
Thank you so much. So this is a very very special song for me. So every time I feel low or sad, so this is that song that's going to uplift me. So I hope you also enjoy it. This is called "You Raise Me Up." Okay. When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, when I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and sit here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes, Mandeep, he sings and he sings very beautifully.
So this has been
Wow.
true for every moment in my life that I've somewhere felt that I'm stuck, not being able to move ahead. No, and I'm in need of that guidance, that clarity, that support. And that is where I've experienced my own divine friend, my divine, always being there for me at each and every step of my journey and showing me guidance, giving me clarity how to move ahead in life. So I, by myself, consider myself to be maybe weak, but when my divine friend is there, that is when I actually come to realize my own potential, my own strength. So yeah, so this is actually the song that I remind myself every time that I hit a dead end, that I get stuck in life.
So, when you talk about your divine friend, like I know both of us, we are guru friends. We both believe in Maitreya Dadashreeji, and both of us have a bond with him. Like for me, he's my father. He's the guide, the mentor, the guru who I know takes care of me in every given scenario, in the toughest of moments. What is your bond with your divine friend?
Mhm. So for me, like as I was mentioning about my college time, and you mentioned that uh, being in presidency college, it's something that's very, very a big achievement for me. That's one of the most elite colleges in the country, especially at that time. And to get into economics department, applied economics by itself was something that was like a very big achievement. And when I was in college, I had an aspiration that okay, like I want to get into the corporate sector, be very successful as a business analyst, and then I went to Bangalore with that purpose. But when I was in Bangalore, so all of a sudden they asked me to shift to Delhi, and Delhi was one place that I just did not want to go, for my own reasons. So that was probably the last place that I wanted to go to. But the situation was such that they asked me either you shift to
Like for me, I had never ever imagined that I will be in Maharashtra, Bombay, New Bombay. No.
So it so happened that I didn't want to take on go to Delhi, and then I quit the job, and then I was back in Calcutta. No, but situation was such that I just was not able to land anything. Even my peers, even my juniors, they started getting jobs, but somewhere something seems to be stopping me. And in that period of like where I was absolutely put into the corner, I suddenly get an opportunity from a college in Gurgaon, which were paying very good package, and they asked me, "Do you want to come?" And because I was in such a situation that I had absolutely no way out, I said yes. And everything happened in such a short span of time. Thursday, I got to know about the job. Friday was the interview. Saturday, it got confirmed. Sunday, I boarded the train. Monday, I reached, and Tuesday, I started teaching. Now, everything
Now you
happened so
were
fast that,
professor. You
yeah,
were professor for stats and eco.
yes, yes, yes. At
Wow.
that point of time, teaching was probably, again, the last thing that I would probably do. And I did not understand what had just happened. 5 days when I made a life changing decision, and I'm suddenly there. And a couple of months, I was still wondering, like, what is it that happened? What happened with me? How did I land here? Delhi of all the places, and teaching a profession which I just didn't like, didn't resonate with. And in a few months' time, I met with a colleague of mine who was teaching at the same place, and he introduced me to our divine friend Maitreya Dadashreeji. And that meeting, that first meeting itself, which happened in 2013, that was a life-changing experience for me. And now, when I look back at it, or to all the things that have happened, at that moment, maybe I did not understand why things were happening the way it was happening. But at that moment, I was just going with the flow. Whatever was happening, I was just following that. But now, when I retrospect and think about it, like, to be put in a situation where there's absolutely no way out, and finally to be set in a place. So I started teaching in a college. So even there are hundreds of colleges in Delhi, but to be in the same college as another devotee of Maitreya Dadashreeji, no, it's too good to be a coincidence. And now when I look back, no, I can see everything
Do
was
you think
just
it was
planned.
all orchestrated?
Yes, exactly, exactly. So everything was orchestrated, and every decision that I took was set in exactly the way it was supposed to happen. So whatever aspirations I might have had as a child, whatever dreams I might have thought when I was in college, all of them took a backseat when the divine will was what prevailed. So when I look at my Maitreya, so I look at him as a divine friend, someone who's there to guide me. Okay. But along with that, there is also very deep understanding that he is the one who's orchestrating everything, like who's taken charge of my entire life. And the path where he's leading to it, something that's the most beautiful destination that anyone could ever think of.
Were there places like for me, even today, even after such a long journey of being a seeker? I think I've been a seeker ever since I remember because हमेशा दिमाग में सवाल होते थे, and throughout I was looking for some guidance somewhere. And even after the journey with Dada, and even today, there are places where I had so much doubts. There are places where, the mind overtakes the heart. There are places where you feel that, okay, fine, my heart says so, but my heart might not be right always. So there has to be some logic applied to life. Do you also face scenarios like this?
So first of all, what you mentioned is something that's very, very beautiful. No? So some many a time we think that when we talk about spirituality, spiritual journey, it's a very, very long journey. But the truth is that it is the shortest journey that anyone can ever take. You know how long that journey is? The journey is just 12 inches, okay? From the head to the heart. It's the shortest journey. Yet, again, it's something that's like most, maybe you can say that difficult also. So there'll be many challenges. And a constant tug of war between the heart and the mind is always
It's
there.
a constant tug of war. It's a constant tug of war, so much so that at times you feel as if
Mhm.
both are ripping each other apart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like what I've come to realize is that that tug of war is there. But if you've seen tug of war, no, so both the sides are pulling each other, both the sides are pulling each other. But there will, at every tug of war game, there will be a point of time wherein one side will definitely win, right? There will be a point of time when that one pull from one of the teams is enough to break, the strength or that force of the opposing party. So I think that tug of war constantly go on till the time that one push or one pull is required. Okay, and that pull is what we know as faith. Okay? When you take that leap of faith, that is when the game actually changes. So many a time, what happens is that, let's say the divine. I look at divine as a mother. So the mother is there, and the child is all crying. Okay, like help me, or something or the other. And one of the naughty child, he gets on a table or the bed, and he looks at mom. He says that I want to jump. Please catch me. The divine says that no, 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 like don't do it. No, you do. I have got more things to do. And the child
Yeah,
said,
I
divine, if
have
I
more
jump,
things to
will you
do than
catch
to
me?
look after you.
The child will keep on questioning. No, if I jump, will you catch me? If I jump, will you catch me? Now, because the child keeps on questioning, the mom says that no, 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 I don't have time for this. Do something else. But the truth is that the moment you jump, okay, the mother does not have any other option. The mother will catch you, and that jump itself is that leap of faith. So definitely, I think in the lives of each one of us, there has been a moment wherein you've just taken that leap of faith, and then you just realize that this is it, and there's no question, nothing after that. You're just on the other side. You're just on the winning side of that tug of war game. Once there was a point of time in my life where I was stuck in a very difficult situation in my life. Then when I got an opportunity to connect with Dadashreeji, then he shared, Pravesh, you are at a roundabout right now. एक गोल चक्कर है जहां पर आप खड़े हो. No? Now at this roundabout, there are different paths that you can take. Okay, one path will lead you to your career goals, another path will lead you somewhere else, another path will lead you. There are a lot of different options. In the last path is the divine who's standing there. Okay, so you choose which path do you want to take. But let me just let you know is that if you take any other path, you're going to go around, explore the entire city, and then come back to the same roundabout, and then you have to take the decision again.
मतलब
So,
कितना भी हो, your quest will only end at the place where it is meant to.
yes, exactly, exactly, exactly. And when you actually come to understand that, or completely from you being realize that there is absolutely no choice, you just have to go with wherever the divine is taking you. That's the only option.
What if, what if the tug of war between the mind and the
Mm,
head continues? You took on to some rituals and some
mm,
ritualistic practices.
mm.
तो ऐसा कोई मंत्र है which you would chant for the divine mother, where you feel that you need the divine mother's support?
Mm. Definitely, when we talk about the divine, no, the divine is there within each and every one of us. So as long as we put our own effort to pull and push, maybe there's a very big chance that we might fail, we might lose the tug of war game. But the moment we ask the divine to hold our hand, that is when you know for a fact that the game is yours. Like when we think of the Mahabharat, so when uh, the war was about to happen, and Duryodhan and the Pandavas, Arjun, went to ask for Krishna's support. Duryodhan asked for the entire Narayani Sena. He thought that if I have all the entire army itself, then I'm going to be more powerful. But the truth is that Arjun just had the hand of Krishna, and Lord Krishna did not even actively participate in the war. But still, the Pandavas were able to win. In the same way, like the moment you ask the divine to hold your hand, there is absolutely no doubt about what the outcome is going to be. No? Now, when we talk about the divine, when we ask to connect with the divine, so again, this is from my own journey that I've come to realize that the divine is always there within each and every one of us. The divine is just there waiting for you inside your heart, waiting for you to acknowledge him. When we think of the divine is there in the world outside. He's overseeing the entire universe. But the divine who's there outside, his purview is on the entire universe itself. But that part of the divine who's there inside each one of us, his purview is only and only us. For my divine, his entire world is just me. For your divine, his entire world is just you. So the moment we acknowledge that
How do
presence of
I
the
know
divine,
that? How do I know that?
good question. Like when if you just keep your hand on your chest, no? So you can feel your heart. Science can explain everything. Science can explain that how the heart functions, okay, how it pumps blood, how you're alive, and this and that. But what science cannot answer is what is it that causes the heart to start in the first place? Okay, there's absolutely no explanation why the heart is beating at all. So thing that the only explanation that is there is someone there who's kickstarting your heart, and the very reason why you're alive. Okay, that is how I know my divine is there. So if I can feel my heart beating, I know that my divine is just there. And when we talk about the divine, there are different ways of connecting with our divine. So one of the ways is connecting with the acknowledging the presence of the divine. We can start communicating with the divine. And what you mentioned, that's also there, chanting mantras. So Maitreya Dadashreeji has given us a mantra that's going to help you connect with your own inner divine. Okay, maybe towards the end of the our talk, I'll just share the mantra, and if anyone would want to chant, so that is a very specific mantra and a very powerful mantra as per the current times, and that mantra would allow you to reconnect with the divine and strengthen the bond with the divine. Okay, so if you want to hear the mantras, I'll request everyone to please stay till the end.
And meanwhile, you spoke about the Divine Mother mantra,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
wherein you establish that faith and that trust
Mhm.
that you
Yeah.
will be taken care of if you take
Mhm.
the leap of faith.
Mhm.
Could you please chant the mantra for us?
Okay. Yeah. So, when we look at the divine, there are different forms, no, as per the role that the divine is going to play, so that we are able to connect, resonate with the divine, and understand the divine. So, the mantra that we keep on chanting, one mantra that I personally feel very much connected to is Narayani Ma mantra. So, it's a mantra of Ma Narayani, okay, the counterpart of Sri Vishnu. Okay, so I'll just chant. So you can just close your eyes and then I'll explain what the meaning is. Om Karunyai Padmahastayai Narayani Namostute. Om Karunyai Padmahastayai Narayani Namostute. Om Karunyai Padmahastayai Narayani Namostute. Om. So what this mantra means is it's like whenever we chant mantra, there are different types of mantras which maybe we'll share in some time. When we chant mantras, for us, what we've come to understand is that any chanting, any ritual that we do is an expression of love for the divine. Okay, so in this mantra, what we are praising Ma Narayani. Okay, so when we say Karunyai, that divine who herself is the personification of Karuna, compassion,
The compassionate one.
the compassionate one.
Yeah.
Padma Hastaye, she who holds lotus in her hands. So lotus signifies something that is very, very pure. Okay. Narayani Namostute. To that divine mother, Ma Narayani, I offer my salutations. Okay. So this is a very, very simple mantra, but when you start chanting this mantra, you can actually experience that flow of compassion and love in within you. And whenever there's a tug of war between the mind and the heart, the mind will take you in the direction of fear. Okay, it will tell you to do things because by putting fear inside you, and the heart functions by allowing you to experience that love. So there is a choice for us: either we move towards love or we move towards fear. Okay, so when you chant this mantra, this will help you to experience the divine love and gradually take you to your heart.
Isn't that simple? You just chant a mantra and you can journey from your mind to your heart.
So, whenever we do any chanting mantra or rituals, there are different parts of it. So, one is the mantra that we are chanting or the rituals that we are doing, that physical action. Most of the time, what we see now is that people are so much focused on the physical action that if there's any ritual or any puja or havan, the people are just focused on like how to do it. Okay, this needs to be done. Okay, then we do it from the right, and after that we do this. After that we do that. But the outer action is just an expression of the inner essence, and that inner essence is love. So when we are
Which
chanting
means,
mantra also,
which
yeah,
means if somebody is not doing an action or taking an action, there is no emotion in the heart.
yeah, yeah.
Is it
So
so?
what is, yeah, exactly. So what is important is what you're feeling in your heart. And that emotion is the most important aspect of any mantra or ritual. So whether is when you're experiencing love in your heart and you're chanting the mantra or doing any ritual as an expression of that love for the divine, then that experience becomes completely different. Learning from Maitreya Dadashreeji, spirituality is all about being natural. So whatever comes naturally to you, that is something that you need to do. Okay, if it's very natural for you to just take a walk in the park, then just take a walk. There's nothing else to be done. You just follow your heart, just take a walk. That itself will be a spiritual experience. Okay, because there's no point that let's say you're doing an arti, you're chanting mantra, doing an arti, and you're thinking about, okay, what is how is season 10 of Big Bang Theory going to be like? Okay, or you're just contemplating on, okay, the ending of Game of Thrones could have been better. There's absolutely no point. No? You're physically there, but your being is not there. So rather than that, just do the things that you want to do, because again, like, the divine is there in your heart. So whatever comes from your heart, that itself becomes divine. So when you start listening to your heart, when you start following your heart, following your passion, that itself becomes a divine action. It's
Brilliant.
just as simple as that.
Sounds very simple, huh, Pravesh? It sounds very simple. But one needs to actually have faith in themselves, Hannah.
Yeah, yeah. Again, when we talk about faith also, no? So it's something that is either there or not there. Either you have faith or you don't have faith. You
Like
cannot like
yesterday,
make a decision.
yesterday I had a guest over and we were talking about stars and astrology and body vastu and stuff like that. And during some conversation, he said that, have 5% trust. I said, no, it doesn't work that way for me. I either trust or I don't trust.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So faith is like that, no? Either you have faith or you don't have faith, and you can say that I have 5% faith today, so I'll put in more
Yes.
effort. Tomorrow I'll have 10% faith. Okay, and after 1 month I'll have 20% faith. It's either there or not there. If it's
Simple
there,
as that, na? Black and white. There's no gray
exactly.
area in faith.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what you
Like
can
there's
do is
no
just
gray area in love.
yeah, yeah.
Is
So
there?
now, no, either you love someone or you don't love someone. Okay, that's the common understanding. But the truth is that that's again an understanding from the mind. When it comes to the heart is always in that experience of love. The heart does not choose, okay, I'll not love, let me turn on the switch, okay, now it's the love switch is on, okay, I'm expressing love now and put it off, it's love. It's not like that. The heart only knows love. So when you look at the sun also, no, the sun is just shining, it's just giving warmth, it's just giving light. The sun doesn't say that, okay, no, now I'm feeling a little bored, okay, I should not give sun, I should not give warmth, let me turn off for a little bit, okay, later it'll turn on. Because the fact that it is the sun, it will radiate heat, it will radiate light. Similarly, when we actually just shift our focus to our heart, then we'll come to understand that love is just there. And when we experience that love, then that love just flows outside. So for your heart, for love, there is no boundary that, okay, you love or not love. There's no choice. The heart is itself, the heart is just its heart. It'll just love. No, because the quality of the heart itself is to love. Okay? But when we operate from the mind, okay, then comes the differences. I am different, you are different, he is different, she is different. I love this person, I don't love this person. No? So
There's so
wherever
many
you see any
challenges on the
boundaries,
path.
yeah. So whenever you see any boundaries, no, so that all those boundaries are of the mind itself.
Pravesh,
Mhm.
I remember my first Havan at Shanti Kshetra, Premgiri. And I remember you being one of the people who
Mhm.
was conducting the Havan with Ajinkya ji. And
Mhm.
the energy was wow, so powerful. So, could you tell us a little about the fire ritual, the Havan practice?
Yeah, yeah. So, as I mentioned, when we talk about rituals, no, any ritual that we see is just an expression of love for the divine. No? And ritual is something that what we've commonly seen is that people, when we talk about rituals, no, people just turn away. They say, no, 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 we don't want to get into rituals. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do that.
I've
But
been like that, huh? I've been like that.
but if we actually come to just think about it, no, ritual is something that is a very, very, integral part of human life. No, so right now we are sitting, no, so we are sitting for this wonderful talk. No, I'm just enjoying this conversation with you, and we have a cup of tea in our hands. Like now, when we look at this cup of tea, so it did not just appear, no, that there's this tea that's been poured. Okay, you went to the kitchen. Okay, you put the water on the stove. You heated the water. After that, you might have put, chai patti there. No? After that, you might have added some milk, okay, and sugar, and then poured it in the glass, and then you've taken it. No? So we are not going to do just like, okay, I want to have tea, so let me have a sip of water, let me have a spoon of sugar, let me chomp on some tea leaves. It doesn't happen that way. No? There's a definite system to it. There's a definite process to it. So now, what is this process? That process itself is a ritual. No? So there's a definite set of actions that you take in order to get some experience or get some result. So when we talk about havans or any other ritual, it's exactly that. No? One key essence of the havans that we do. No? Like havans is not something new. It's been there since the ancient times. But somewhere, as I mentioned before, that the actual essence of Havan was missing over the years. Now, Havan just became a place wherein, the priest used to come and just chant some like random mantras and like put fire in between. His phone would ring, he'd answer the calls, okay, then he'd shout at someone. So, this is what I saw Havan as a child. And this is something that I just could not resonate with, just couldn't relate to it. But now, when I think about it, when we are doing the havans at ashram or otherwise also, I see a stark difference in how I perceive the havan to be and how what havan actually is. And that difference was just at the level of my own understanding. So havans, most of the time, havans or any rituals, we just perceive it as an external action. Okay, that is done. Okay, especially in a in a language that tends to confuse. No, so most of the havans or rituals is done in Sanskrit, which we have
Sanskrit.
only
Huh?
got.
Hmm.
But now, coming to understand what exactly is the essence of Havan, we are really very fortunate that Dadashreeji shared light on exactly what the process of Havan is. So for us, Havan is an act of love. It is an expression of your love to that higher power, to that divine. Uh, It is a medium wherein you can convey your prayers. So when we talk about prayers, so you can convey your prayer to the divine at any point of time. You can just sit and close your eyes, connect with the divine, and share your prayers. But many a time, what happens is that due to various blockages, maybe some blocks in our own thought patterns or emotions or karmic baggages, the prayers that we do are unable to reach the divine. And even if it reaches the divine grace is unable to reach back to us. So even if it may seem that you are praying, you are putting in prayers with all the heart, all the bhaav, but still somewhere you feel that your prayer is not being heard, or even if it's being heard, it's not being answered. So that's where Havan comes in. So when we offer any prayer through the medium of Havan, we perform Havan through the medium of Agni, the fire. The fire has a quality that the direction of the fire is always upwards. Now, cardinally, the direction is upwards, but at a more esoteric level, the fire, every divine form has its own purpose. The purpose of the fire, or the role that fire or Agni Dev plays, is it is a messenger of the divine. Anything that you offer to the divine, it automatically reaches the divine. Okay. So when we do Havans at the MaitriBodh Parivaar, so we do the Havan with that understanding or that realization as to exactly how the ritual is supposed to happen. So very broadly, there are two aspects that is required for the Havan. So one is the ritual that's there, the set of processes that we do, because again, it's the way that things become better when we follow a particular set of patterns. Okay,
But
but
processes patterns क्यों करने हैं? Prayers तो simple होती है ना.
बिल्कुल
मतलब
बिल्कुल.
you can just lit a little
Mhm.
fire and pray to
Mhm.
whoever you wish to.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
follow set processes?
yeah, yeah. So as I mentioned, no, so when we do prayers from our side, so you can definitely do, and the divine definitely listens to your prayers. But at some point, if you feel that your prayers are not being heard, or you're not receiving that grace, no, that is where Havan can help break those barriers, those karmic barriers, okay, those blockages, to ensure that your prayer reaches the divine. Okay. And when we do Havan at the MaitriBodh Parivaar, so unfortunately I'll not be able to show it right now. So there's a set pattern. Each and everything in the Havan that has a specific purpose. So the way we do the Havan, so there are four people who participate in the Havan. So first is the Karta or the conductor of the Havan, someone who controls the entire Havan. Okay. Then we have someone in the Vishnu Stan who visualizes the entire Sankalp, the prayers, just to ensure that prayer reaches the divine. Then we have another person who is the Brahma who creates the fire and then maintains the fire and is in constant communication with fire. Okay, here when we talk about the fire, so what we see is just that flame, but that fire is very much alive. And when you're sitting at the hound, you can communicate with that fire. It is a form of the divine. Okay. And the last is the person in the receiver position. So every person sitting on the Havan, they have a specific role or purpose to play. Okay. And even the structure of the Havan is such that, okay, the first we invite Lord Ganesh to the Havan. So Lord Ganesh, his energy is that he removes obstacles. So whatever prayer you're putting for the Havan, okay, whatever obstacles may come in the path of that prayer getting fulfilled, Lord Ganesh will remove those obstacles. Second, we invite Divine Mother. So Divine Mother Adi Shakti is the form of divine energy, divine Shakti. So in order to achieve anything, you need that divine force. Right? That energy is required. So Divine Mother is there to provide that. Okay. Then we have a special type of diya, okay, which signifies prosperity. And then there is the main divine form who grants the blessings of the grace for the Havan. He is the Adipati. Okay. So whenever we do havan, we do it very, very systematically. First, we start with, like invite the divine. Okay. Then we start cleansing because havan is a divine process. So we cleanse ourselves first, we cleanse the ground, we cleanse the surroundings. Okay. Once the cleansing is done, then we pray for the peace of the entire world. Okay. Once everything is settled, if all the energies are settled, then we start with the Havan. First, we invite Lord Ganesh, pray to him. Then we call Ma Divine Mother, pray to her for the Shakti. Then we ignite the fire, invoke the presence of Agni Dev, and then we offer the prayer and then pray for it. And in the end, after all the oblations are done, after all of the offerings are done, we offer Purna Ahuti. And that is a complete offering wherein we just offer not just uh, the physical offering, but our own self, our own ego, so that we can transform to a higher place of being. So when we look at Havan, there are different ways of looking at the Havan. First is at the physical level.
I remember here I'll ask you something. I remember being asked to offer a quality of mine the
Yeah.
first time I did the Havan. Uske baad to I now I think I've done many of them. The first time I participated in a Havan at Shanti Kshetra by MaitriBodh at my home as well. I was asked to offer a quality of mine to the fire. Why is that?
Yeah, yeah. I'll just explain. So when we are doing the Havan, so again, quickly, so there are two aspects to it. One is the physical aspect, wherein you're taking physical actions. Because we are in the physical realm, physical actions is required. Okay, you need to give in order to receive something. Okay, and simultaneously with all the physical actions, there's a lot of things that happens at the energy level. Okay, wherein your prayer is taken to the divine lokas. Okay, and the blessings come back, and we use the channelizes that energy to manifest the prayer that you've put. So, for someone with mystical vision, that person may be able to experience, that otherworldly experience of the Havan itself. Okay, but very basic, very very basic understanding that whenever we are doing Havan or Yagna, it literally translates into sacrifice. No, as I said, in the physical realm, in order to get something, you have to give something. Right? So when you're
Always.
putting the ahuti, when you're putting oblations in the fire, so one is you are sacrificing or renouncing that physical material. Okay, so that sacrifice at the physical level happens. When we say swaha and put ahuti, that means that physical sacrifice is being done. At the same time, that intent that we have is that idan na mama. That means whatever it is not mine. So we say Agne Swaha, idam Agne, idam na mama. This means this belongs to Agni, it does not belong to me. So there's that mental sacrifice that what I have, that acknowledgement of the fact that nothing is mine. It is all belongs to the divine. Okay. And at the third level, when you set up the Purna Ahuti, that final offering where we add a quality of ours, it's actually along with the physical sacrifice, with the sacrifice from the mind, you're also sacrificing or offering or surrendering your entire soul itself. So when you offer the Purnahuti with the physical, so the physical Purnahuti has a coconut which represents the self, as well as all the things that you'd need in order to live life happily. But with that physical offering, you need to give it a quality so that offering also becomes alive. So that is where we ask you to put that one quality, positive quality that you have. So when you're offering that quality and you offer that ahuti in the fire, then that is where that offering becomes complete. With the physical offering, you have that energy or that soul spark of the soul also you are offering to the fire, and whatever it is that you offer in the fire, the law of nature is such that you will receive it back, many many times more. So if you offer love into that fire, that love, that whole quality of the soul, then you'll experience that same love coming back to you 1,000 times more. Okay, so that is the reason why you offer. Yeah,
So
and
that
yeah, sorry.
so that the ego essence of it
Mhm.
gets destroyed in the fire,
Absolutely.
and only the pure comes back to you. Is that the reason we offer it?
Yeah, yeah. So now, when we are offering, right, as I mentioned, that intent has to be there. Intent is that whatever I have is yours. Okay, that process itself is about moving a step towards surrendering yourself. As I said before, like when we talk about faith, faith is something that we cannot bring by ourselves. And same is with surrender. If we think that, okay, I have surrendered everything to the divine, it's just the mind that's speaking. Now, faith and surrender are qualities which we are able to experience only and only by divine grace. But when we are taking an action, that I'm offering whatever I have, I'm offering to you, that means slowly you are preparing your entire being, to that state of surrender. So it's about preparing your being. So whenever we are offering anything in the fire, we are offering a part of ourselves, so that we are able to experience that state of surrender. Okay, and whatever we are doing, whenever we are offering, what is actually happening is we are transforming ourselves from the way we are right now to our true self, to that divine self. So with every ahuti, if the intent is there, that intent of sacrifice is there, sacrificing of that false self is there, then what will remain in the end is only that which is the truth, only that which is the divine.
And can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So, if the divine is the final truth,
Mhm.
and if the heart is what is, uh, if the heart is the only aspect that connects us to ourselves and a higher being or a higher consciousness or a divine form,
Mhm.
then why is the mind always conflicted?
Mhm. Yeah. Actually, the problem, where the problem starts is, like when we talk about the mind has its own purpose. When we look at the heart has its own purpose. Everything that we have has its own purpose. The purpose of the mind was to help us understand, to help us comprehend. The purpose of the heart was to guide oneself in this path of life. Okay? What is right, what is not right. But the problem has happened because somewhere we've shifted roles. Instead of our heart becoming that guiding force in life, we've given the reins or the steering wheel to the mind. Now, mind itself is in a confused state, and you've handed the mind the steering wheel of your life. So it is not possible to expect that the mind will give you clarity or lead you to the right place. But at every aspect.
It's like confusing your soul and body's essence, like me being a feminine, you being a masculine. We confuse our roles and become a feminist.
Yeah, yeah. Very true, very true. So, I was just seeing an ad, a short clip on YouTube today. Like today, people are so much uh, proud of what they have, or the race that they belong to. So there was an interview that was done, and they were like, "Okay, I belong to so and so community, and I don't like so and so community." There was such a distinction, no? That this is what I like, this is what I am a part of, this is something that I don't like. So a group of people were interviewed and everyone shared. Okay. Now, after that, the people who were interviewing, they said that, okay, we will do a DNA test. Okay, we'll see what your roots actually are. And when they took the DNA and they actually scanned it, what came to be is that there's nothing called a pure race. No? Everyone is mixed at some or the other point of time. Or in other words,
Of course,
everyone is one and the same.
because
That,
ultimately the root is the same.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Ultimately, if we all go and check the ancestral
Mm.
line, we
Yeah,
belong to the same source. We come from the same source.
yeah. So now,
Uh,
if that is true at the physical understanding, in the physical body itself, when we look at it from a spiritual perspective, there absolutely cannot be any distinction or difference at the level of the soul. Everything is one, and one is everything.
Pravesh, I can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on talking to you. And we both know कि हमारी बातें खत्म नहीं होने वाली हैं.
But thank you so much. I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed.
The conversation isn't over yet.
Okay, okay. I took it as a cue that okay.
Yeah, we're coming towards the end, but I don't feel like closing it right away. I love the sketch behind you on the wall.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. So,
It's so pretty.
yeah.
आप थोड़ा और खिसकोगे तो हमारे ऑडियंस को दिखाई देगा. একটু সরে যেতে হবে.
হয়ে গেছে?
হয়ে গেছে.
So, painting has been a passion, that I used to just enjoy when I was a kid. But somewhere, because of again, once I started with college, this was something that I was not able to do. And like every time I was interacting with someone, I was always telling them, okay, you need to follow your passion, follow your heart, because your heart's calling is the divine. Then one day it was this realization that okay, I've been telling everyone to follow your passion, but somewhere even for me, painting has taken a back seat. And that was probably that divine signal that this is something that I need to start again. So I love to try new things, do new things. So painting is one of them. I very much absolutely love photography. I love to write. So now all of these are things that I, yeah.
Artist to the core.
Yeah, this is all about
गाते
life.
तुम हो, गाते तुम हो, बजाते तुम हो, लिखते तुम हो, स्केच तुम करते हो, आर्ट तुम करते हो, फोटोग्राफी करते हो, रिचुअल्स करते हो, मंत्र चांट करते हो, और क्या करते हो प्रवेश? You are a professor, of course, of
Yeah.
eco and stats.
Statistics. Yeah, yeah. So for me, I think it's just about enjoying life. So whatever, every moment, if you're able to enjoy life, if you're able to experience happiness and love at each and every point of life, that means your life is sorted. So for me, all of these are just mediums to express myself. So maybe later I'll tell you more about the paintings. And so every painting that I do, it's got some meaning, okay, some significance. I would love to share about it again, maybe some other time.
We'll do a conversation specifically on art.
Art, okay, perfect.
And before we close today's conversation and evening, what is that one ritual or one mantra
Mm,
that you think is the mantra for today's time where
mm,
we are entering a new era, when
mm,
we are entering a new world, when humanity is going through a complete transformation, when it is like the butterflies coming out of the cocoon and that
mm,
stage where the cocoon holds the butterfly
mm.
and yet allows it to move forward.
Mhm.
I think the entire world is going through that phase.
Yes.
And during this time,
Mm,
which is the mantra of today's times?
mm. Yeah, thank you for asking, Kanchani. I had forgotten. So, again, as you rightly mentioned, so whatever we are going through is a transitory phase wherein the entire world outside is experiencing a transformational shift. And along with what is happening outside, we ourselves are also going through a lot of shift. If you've just noticed for the past couple of years in life, maybe, then there's a lot of shift happening, that churning happening. Again, all of this is happening with the purpose that we reach to a better state of being inside, and better state of being outside in the world also. But this transition phase, they it will be a little bit bumpy. So one thing that can help us or give us clarity or guidance in this transition phase is our own inner divine. That divine form was there within each and every one of us. When we seek clarity from outside, you know, it's always with some perception by the other person. You know, if a person is guiding you, that person is coming from his own set of experiences, and that guidance may or may not be right for you. So if you're searching for the right guidance in life, the only person, the only being that can give you the right guidance is your own inner divine. So when you are able to connect with your inner divine, you'll have clarity in life, and this phase of transformation would be a beautiful journey. Okay, so I'd like to share that mantra to connect with your own inner divine. Okay, I'll share the mantra, and maybe if all of us we can chant the mantra, then you will be able to experience what this mantra exactly is.
Before we start the mantra, I would like to acknowledge some of our friends who have joined us today evening. We have Shehzada Ali Ansari from the Kanchan Foundation. Thank you, Bacha, for joining. We have Mandeep. We have Bhagyashri. We have Journeying Home. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but thank you for joining. We have Madhusmita Sakya. Then we have Prakash ji with us. We have Saroj ji with us. We have Yogita. Thank you for joining, everyone. Anjali, Mandeep again, Anil Jain. Um, and then we have Pasong Sherpa, if I'm pronouncing it right. I
Awesome.
hope
Yeah.
I'm pronouncing it right. Um, and we have Neeru Mehra. Thank you, each one, for joining us. Uh, and thank you for bringing your energies to this conversation today. Pravesh, uh, as we are going towards the final chanting of the evening, I would like to thank you
Okay.
for coming to Chai Shai and sharing your wisdom with us. I know this is your first interview ever where you are answering questions.
Yeah.
And I remember your first interview where you were questioning
Yeah.
people and me being your first candidate for the interview.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank you so much, Kanchanji. Thank you.
all your support always. Thank you for being there. Thank you for being my friend, Pravesh.
No, so the Mitra is for that. No, so Mitra means a friend. So at the MaitriBodh Parivaar, we are friends for everyone. So, so thank you so much for this opportunity, Kanchanji. I really had a good time. Thank you.
Let's
Okay.
start the
So now,
mantra.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now, the mantra, I'll just share the mantra. So whatever form of the divine that you feel connected with, okay, that divine form is there in your heart. So while chanting the mantra, you can just visualize the divine form in your heart. Okay, so I'll first say the mantra and then all of us will chant it together. Okay, so the mantra goes like Om Jyoti Rupaya. Jyoti Rupaya means that divine who is in the form of light, he whose form is light. So that inner divine within us, he is in that form of light. So we are acknowledging that divine form. Okay, so the moment we chant Jyoti Rupaya, we can see that light at the center of our heart slowly expanding and covering our entire being. Next word is Param Sakhaya. Param Sakhaya means Param means supreme. Sakha means friend. The divine who is also your supreme friend. Paramanandaya. Again, Param means supreme. Anand means bliss. He whose quality is bliss. So the moment you chant Paramanandaya, you can experience that wave of bliss starting from emanating from your inner divine and flowing through your entire being. Okay? Dadashreeji, Namo Namaha. So to that Dadashreeji, we offer our humble prostrations. Okay. So you can visualize any divine form that you connect with naturally. So you can chant this mantra. This mantra is going to help you connect with your own divine form. Okay. So you can just close your eyes. Just allow yourself to relax. Take your focus on your heart center. Your heart is the abode of your inner divine. Okay, visualizing your divine in your heart, you may listen to the mantra once and then you can repeat it. Okay, just listen to it once and just visualize this mantra. Om Jyoti Rupaya Param Sekhaya Paramanandaya Dadashreeji Namo Namaha. If you want, you can repeat the mantra now. Om Jyotirupaya Param Sekhaya Paramanandaya Dadashreeji Namo Namaha. Om Jyotirupaya Param Sekhaya Paramanandaya Dadashreeji Namo Namaha. Dadashreeji Namo Namaha. Dadashreeji Namo Namaha. Om